Alright, a wonderful good morning everybody and welcome back to my channel. Um, just some small changes here. Plague Engineer, Plague Marine as I call it, got thrown out and we replaced it with a couple of Lilianas just because the meta is so grindy right now and I want to have some additional value. Also, Plague Marine is surprisingly bad against Eldrazi, and so I wanted to have a Liliana here. Due to the still ongoing Hogaak Menace, I also increased our Graveyard Hate in the sideboard a little bit again, and that's that. So we're already 1-0 in the league because, well, I couldn't wait. My roommate was still sleeping, and it was like 6 o'clock in the morning. Now it's 7:30, and I think that's a reasonable time to be awake. So now I'm also recording it, and we're just gonna jump right into our second league here. What else is there to say? Just a second. Yeah, so this is the modern metagame breakdown of the Mythic Championship Barcelona after game 1. We'll just analyze it in a second. So, interestingly, Tron apparently has the most favorable matchups in the meta. And it's just being dragged down by some horrendous matchups here against Hogaak and against Burn, but otherwise, usual Tron is just overall just insanely consistent against everything. I'm gonna keep this, and apparently we're playing Jund. Never mind. Alright. So Hogaak. So he hasn't triggered anything yet, and we would like him to not be able to sack that one, or to get another creature close. Almost. So I think we're gonna go after the Stitches Supply here. The rest is gonna come back from the graveyard anyway. Gravecrawler, of course, is a little bit of pain in the ass. On the plus side, though, if he's playing everything right now, then he won't be able to trigger Vengevine. So I'm planning on sweeping the soul in one turn with our Blast Zone. Probably close before we're dead. And then up until then we need to have at least one, possibly two Nimbles on the battlefield for damage we can take for a bit. And then the rest of the game we will need to. So now we're taking 6 a turn. This is fine. This needs to be blue. This probably needs to be blue-red. I also want to have Torpid though. Alright, I'm gonna say let's fetch first here. Need to find Cryptics, and then after that we need to find Snapcaster Mages. So taking 6. Golgari Thug, sure. So apparently no Hogaak yet. Hello. I'm inclined to go with or against Terminate here. Could of course terminate Black Gas at some point. But right now, like, I can just shut it off, fetch this for 3, go to 2. Because we want to have these 2 and Serum Visions. No. Alright, so if we don't find a cryptic command, then we might need to get rid of the creeping target here. So we're probably gonna have one more turn. And this is a human warrior, so that's not gonna trigger that. And there's a Vengevine, so let's hope he hasn't found another zombie yet. Can we survive one more turn? So Jace needs to tick up on Insulate Neonate because we cannot. We need to block something as well. Yeah. Doing anything else here does not make a whole lot of sense. Alright, so this way we could also kill the Neonate, block the Thug, and kill Blagast. But we would want what's better. This one brings a creature back, right? So I'm gonna go up here, block the Bloodghast, although he does have a land, of course. So we're not gonna give him the opportunity here. Okay, another land. Cryptic. Just a little bit too late here. I also don't think, like, we wouldn't need to have a turn where he both cannot or does not have a land here. Looting. Do we need to counter that? If he draws a land, that's bad, but otherwise I think we need to let this resolve. Okay, that one we cannot let resolve, because otherwise it's just gonna get the supplier. Counter draw. Okay. The good thing is, as long as it's not a fetch land, we can theoretically also. So let's see. If we put him down to 8 and draw Snapcaster Mage, then Lightning Bolt could be lethal potentially. But I think we're just gonna go return Nimble, discard. That was a fetch land. Alright, so 5 per spell. So we probably want to still have the Jace around just to keep the thug in check. Looting. I think I'm gonna let that resolve. Although that's also weird. There's the Bloodghast. So now I think we let this resolve. Kill the Bloodghast. Play Nimble. And I still don't want to. Yeah, now we even got the Snapcaster Mage up. And we get 2 more damage through Kolaghan's command if need be. Gravecrawler, can't let that happen. Counter draw. There's a Snapcaster Mage. And that might be good enough. Good, 2 lands gone. I think we already have lethal here, right? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. The mana pans out. Pooh, what a game. What a game. Shit. Alright, so 1-game-1, which is quite significant. Definitely don't want to have any of our discard magic, but all of this is pretty good. Rise Fall, pretty bad here. Liliana, definitely not a thing. Actually want to get rid of all the Lilianas. In this matchup, certainly Plague Engineer is strictly better than all of our Lilianas. Probably one Jace down. Logic Knot is not necessary as well. Yeah. I think something like this. Jailer. I think Jailer on turn 2 is okay because we do have a turn 1 Lightning Bolt. And I'm not gonna let it replay it. I want this thing to be in the graveyard. So we're gonna take the damage. Bloodghast. It's more important to us here. I think we're gonna go after the Gravecrawler first, because even if he kills our Jigsaw Jailer, he still has to spend the mana instead of just getting back for free. On the other hand, though, of course, if you had ways to get his graveyard full, then Gravecrawler is of course better. Okay, either he doesn't have oh shit, nah, I missed that one. Clicked one too far. Well, no, might have fucked it up though. Unless, of course, here comes Hogaak. Okay, so I think it's reasonable. He would have played Hogaak if he had it, right? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I guess so. So we're just gonna go with Kalitas here. Unless he has another fail push. Oh, come on. Well, that's pretty insane. All right. Surgical and Spellbomb. That's really bad. Like really, 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 really bad. How do we handle this? We get rid of 2. Spellbomb, kill 3rd. We're down to 2. We can take 1 more hit. Hope that the last card in his hand is not a land. Although I expect it to be a land. So now we go Spellbomb. Pass the turn. Then we go return and kill. We go down to 1. And have the Kalitas on the battlefield plus. Cannot activate Fail Push without fetch land. If his last card in hand is Hogaak, what do we do? Like, he gets 3 additional ones, he can do it anyway. So we let this resolve, I guess. There's a Benchvine. Oh, come on, this can't be real. Oh, this can't be real. What the fuck? And we don't have a removal spell. Well, we're gonna take a look anyway. So 3 Benchvines, 3 Hogaaks. And he apparently drew all the removal in his deck. Shit. All of it. Except for that 1 trophy. That's fucked up. Yeah, we couldn't have done anything here. That was just our opponent. Like, we played around so much, I think. that was still alright. Since he does have so much removal and is grinding so much, I think I'm gonna change it up a little. So Jigsaw Jailer is certainly one of the best cards that we could possibly have. And I want to have the ability to get it back. Maybe actually, if he's still... Okay. Yeah, let's keep. Okay, opponent on mulligan to 5. It appears to be keeping that one. Looting, sure. Gravecrawler and Bloodghast. So, since we do have Snapcaster Mage, I'm inclined to already have a look here. Go after probably the Bloodghast. Well, it doesn't really matter, right? Let's go after Gravecrawler first. Trophy, set your Wayfinder. So 3 Gravecrawlers, 4 Bloodghasts. Okay, and not enough lands too. He still does have Force of Vigor in here and Tenacious Claims. Alright. That's a good card by itself. So I think what we're going to do here is draw step, Surgical the Bloodghast. That way he loses a lot of the explosiveness of his deck. And he's also gone down to... no, he got a benchmark into his hand, alright. Also put 3 Thought Seizes in. Alright, so we got ourselves down to 13 already. But I think that if we consistently get rid of the Wayfinder, do we see the card? What is this? Oh, that's okay. So he kept an Overgrown Tomb, I think. Okay, so his hand should be Benchvine, Benchvine, Trophy, land, right? Right now. Okay, let's go top. In your face. Wayfinder. Yes. I think the only other card that he can actually cast here from his hand is either another, Neonate or a fucking Stitcher Supply. Shit. Okay, so now if he hits Hogaak, we really have a problem. And he still has 2 Assassin's Trophies in hand as well. There's a Hogaak, sure. I think we're gonna take the hit here, kill Hogaak, attack for 2. Could counter bounce, but I think we're just gonna bounce tap draw. Problem is that the Assassin's Trophies also can go after our Creeping Tar Pits. He knows that we want to have the card on top. So, but I actually think that because we won't be able to get to our, well, never mind. So if we were to draw a Snapcaster Mage, we would have lethal, right? So let's see. We have a couple of plays here. Either we go with the conservative line of just tap draw, then we're probably dead to the Assassin's Trophy. What though if we go bounce Vengevine and tap their creatures? Then he would either need to replay the Vengevine this turn, or he waits till next turn And if he does, then Hogaak kills us. So what's our best bet here? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Snapcaster is lethal. Cologan's command is lethal. But we do have a couple of things that are also not lethal. Yeah, I think he sees the... I mean, yeah. Creeping Tar-Pit and Lightning Bolt together aren't lethal either, so I guess we're just gonna go tap draw. Serum Visions. No. That's sad. Because now we're 2 mana short, right? Do we have a way of doing this? We do have the Kolgan's command that we need. Or we could still be good if a Snapcaster Mage is on the bottom. So if we bottom here, play land, spell bomb, cross Snapcaster, we would need to draw Bolt and Snapcaster, right? So that's not possible. 1, 2. Shit. Sadly, the Hogaak has trample. So definitely bottom this one. Fuck. Snapcaster terminates. Yeah, I think we just need to hope that we have a Snapcaster on top here. Has even a Lightning Bolt. Damn it. We're so close. So insanely close. But Hogaak kills us. Ah. That was an emotional roller coaster. Blue-white control. All right, time to concentrate again. Let's go with the blast zone here because we can do multiple things with it. Just gonna ship in with our Snapcaster Mage for a little. Yeah, I think that's fine. Are set. So now, I actually think we let this resolve. He's gonna use it because of the blast zone. He's not gonna use it. That's interesting. So he definitely wants to resolve something else, right? We need something that's black. Black and blue. So we're gonna go with nimble attacker, so if he wants to use it, it's dead. And he can't do anything about it. Blue. Attack. Then let's see if he does have a Force of Negation here to get rid of our Liliana, otherwise we're gonna get our Schnapcast back. And he discarded another Force of Negation. Interesting. So pitching Force to Force, I think that's fine. Alright, I think we're gonna go with the red source here. Verdict, okay. D-sphere. Okay. Just pumping everything a little bit. We'll go, yeah, that's good. Because we still have Cryptic up and we also would have Snap. He didn't play the land, interesting. You wish. You wish. All right. I mean, our opponent knows about our Snapcaster Mage. So I do not really understand. I mean, he obviously doesn't have another play here. So maybe that's all right. I think he might have just given up. Yep. All right. So I think I want to get rid of all of these, as always. Getting those back in. Terminate might be a trap in case he brings in Baneslayer Angel, but then we still have Risefall. And I think for that Risefall, we're gonna bring in Grim Lavamances just to be on the battlefield and to use our graveyard to the best of our abilities. And we'll see if our opponent is going to bring in Rest in Pieces. He's just going to play with Surgicals. That is fine. Not the best of hands, but I guess we're going to keep because we can get into our nibble there. And we're also on the draw, so any blue or red source is potentially good. Okay, Monastery Mentor. How do we think about that? I think we actually are gonna take the click here, right? We could go after the Opt as well, just because he doesn't have so many lands. So that next turn we definitely are, yeah, gonna hit 2 cards with our Icefall. Counterspell into land would of course be super unlucky, but that was worth it. Okay. Again, no land, so I guess we're just gonna play out the Nimble here. Hope that our opponent is gonna... If he's not gonna counter, then maybe he is going to path it. Because I want to have that additional blue source. Well, just gonna pump. Alright, there we go, friend. That's what I wanted to see. Perfect. So we're gonna pump. Keep up our Nimble just in case. Then we're gonna go Inquisition. Dovin's Veto? Oh, alright. And see you. Should have tapped the Blast Zone there instead of my island. Just in case we draw a Lodging Knot. Sad, sad, sad. So this and this. Opponent's gonna hope to draw a land to get his Detention Sphere, but we would have a Blast Zone anyway. GG's. All right, blue white. All right, I'm gonna take a break here. This match particularly exhausted me, and I'm gonna get some breakfast. So we'll see each other in a couple of seconds. All right, friends, we are back for round number 4, and before we jump into that round, I just wanted to go over the day one data here real quick. So Dredge overall pretty bad, also with a couple of outliers, as is Jund. Despite having Renin 6 being a clear upgrade to Dog Confident, and still I don't think it's well designed because of the reasons that I already stated in other videos. We see that Jund actually gained tremendous amounts in the fair matchups against Eldrazi, Azorius, and humans, but still is pretty weak to everything else. And I mean, that's obvious. Ren 6 is a value engine and also supports Lightning Bolt pretty well, so that Eldrazi Tron, except for Reality Smasher, you know, you can kill most of the stuff there pretty easily. And then we have Thopter Sword, a deck that I'm generally pretty impressed with. Also having a couple of really lopsided matchups, and the rest around 50%. Is it Phoenix? As I already said a couple of weeks ago, Area of Flame. For any deck that interacts with you as a Phoenix player, Area of Flame is just a strict downgrade to Pyromancer Ascension. It's pretty cool that you can shoot down creatures with it, but other than that, you're just giving your opponent life, and they're gonna get rid of the flame at some point. And most or some of the Phoenix players, after a couple of weeks, realize that and realigning their threat suite to accompanying 2 Pyromancer Ascension again and run Area of Flame so that they don't have too many multiples in the deck. But that's also something that I already said a while ago. And humans, you're looking at the humans matchups. What's positive, what's negative. So first of all, humans being really good against Hogaak is really cool. Also good against Eldrazi Tron. And then we got a couple of pretty bad matchups. But I think that if humans were to support more Unsettled Marina, you could at least these 3, like Tron, yeah, even Tron, because Karn, etc., they all have to target, and most of the time they do not have the additional mana open at that point. So you can, or you will have a more easier time to overrun them until they can catch up. So either you go Unsettled Marina, or for the Tron matchup, you could also put in the, I want to say Azorius Renegade, but that's not correct. The one blue, white mana female that prohibits your opponent from playing spells with a CMC greater than your life. Oh shit. My. Yeah, Siri just activated itself. Greater than your lands. Other than that, yeah, so we just see that Burn, as always, has a pretty bad overall standing. Except for Jund and Tron, but everything else is horrendous, especially against humans, and also here. But yeah, so that's that from day 1. We'll see how percentages converge towards game day 2. I mean, man. All right, hopefully I can concentrate now again. Also, of course, this weekend, if you want to support Paper Magic, I would also recommend watching the stream. But right now it's only draft. And I do not understand why the Pro Tour always features draft, especially in modern, but I don't understand it generally because people are just not. It's not an exciting format. People are just not watching it. Like the gap between right now, I think there's like 6 or 7,000 people watching. Of course, that's also partially due to the time, like in Europe, where the PT is. Well, that hasn't gotten really a whole lot better. Keep chip that one. So if we put the Scalding Torrent on top, we can run out. Yeah, I think that's better. And then going Torpid tapped. And then Serum Visions. So this time we could actually be playing against Jund. And there, of course, it's a little sad that we're so I do not want to give our opponent here a turn 2 Ren and 6. Therefore, I'm keeping up. Alright, we're not playing against John, we're playing against Death Shadow. John Death Shadow, possibly. Nope. Abzan. I think we're trying to counter this. We don't know if he does have another one or if he just fetch shock there in order to get his life total down. But I guess if he's playing Abzan, he's probably playing why is this lol? I do not know. He's probably playing Ranger Captain of Eos. And this way, I think I'm gonna go return and deal 2 damage to him. So that double lightning bolt or bolt and torpid is potentially lethal. They also don't have access to that's pretty bad. Especially if he manages to probably path. So let's see. He's probably gonna sacrifice. I don't know. So things that could save us potentially. One, two, three. Okay, another ranger captain. That's shadow. Would say. So look if his last card in hand. Do I care about that? No, I don't. His opponent not taking it very well. And he doesn't know what luck is. Like, this certainly was not, or had nothing to do with luck. Whereas we've had a couple of games where luck definitely was decisive. Yeah, not having to play around a stubborn denial definitely helps. But let's see. So I think Nimble is pretty good. Liliana of the Veil is also pretty good. Liliana of the Last Hope, they could be bringing in. Almost certain that they will have some sort of way of getting lingering souls, probably. So we could just run it back as is. Abzan might also suggest that they're actually playing Tarmogoyf as well. So that Nil Spellbomb could be potentially good. Or a Grim Lavamancer. But I think for right now, I'm just gonna keep it as it is. Because if they're gonna surprise us with Lingering Souls, I don't just want to be running into... Yep. That's a keep. And our opponent also getting his game with 7 cards in hand. No discard spell there. Alright, Goif, Fulminator Mage, Death Shadow. And he's already drawn a card, right? Yep. So, I think we're gonna take the Goif here. And the next turn try to go after Fulminator. Fulminator Mage, of course, by itself is a pretty big problem. So if he draws discard spell right now, alright then. Bottom, I'm inclined to put Ricefall on top. But I think right now we probably also want to put it on the bottom. Silent Clearing will only get it to 13. So if he draws another shock land or fetch land, then he will definitely do that. But it will still be susceptible to bolt. Alright. So we still only have to go after that Goif. Hopefully we're gonna draw. I was gonna say a land. Could also go bolt, but I think this one just in case. So it's a 5/6 right now. I think that's the correct choice there. So best case scenario, we draw an island here. Now let's see. I think we're gonna buy ourselves another turn here with our Jace. And then we're looking for either a Snapcaster, a Lightning Bolt. No, Lightning Bolt wouldn't do it. Oh, there's a Lightning Bolt. So I guess we're gonna discard the K command here. And then we're gonna return and draw, because that basically buys us 2 turns. Here comes a Tar Pit. So we have lethal, unless our opponent does have removal. And that's somewhat likely, right? No, actually it's not likely, because otherwise he would have used it in order to get rid of our Jace. I would assume. So he didn't play land last turn. Possible that choke. Well, those two are gonna untap anyway, so I don't see a problem here. He's tapped out. I think he's dead. So 1, 2, 3, black, blue, red. Go ahead. And we have another land anyway to get black or whatever. Oh well. Come on, man. Alright, so quick break and then we're back with round number 5. Alright, welcome to round number 5 here, and the last round in today's league. We're 3-1, just being beat by Hogaak in at least very, very exciting matches. And I have to say, like, aside from the fact that I think Faithful Suiting is just not a card that should be played in Modern, I do think if they were to print Force of Despair with an exile clause, like I already said a couple of months back, when we saw the spoilers, and we get Containment Priest or something similar, I do honestly believe that we can contain the graveyard shenanigans to a reasonable degree, and especially what's more important, force our opponents to actually play interactive Magic, because they cannot get around a, say, Containment Priest or whatever. So that would just be really, really good. Especially, of course, if we get it in black, preferably at 3 mana with additional clauses. So, basically the same hand that we had last time. We're on the play again. I'm gonna keep this time. And hope that we draw another land here. Alright. So that's actually pretty good. I think we're gonna go top in this order. Just Wizards of the Coast. They apparently have someone who is a fan of Jund and wanted to have Ren and 6 in the meta, and someone who's a fan of Faithful Looting decks and wanted to print Hogaak. And we've seen it before, like probably the same person that also printed Creeping Chill into Standard. So let's see. I think we're gonna go with Liliana here, because we cannot protect our Jace anyway. And if he comes along with the Teferi next turn, like let's say he does have Force of Negation here. Okay, which he doesn't. Interesting. Could have also gone down, but then we still wouldn't have been able to follow suit with Jace. Okay, so he's apparently looking for lands or something here. Something's weird. So I want to get value out of all Liliana as soon as possible. And to that degree, I mean, Nimble, of course, does pretty well. Well, that's actually a bummer for us, because now he knows about the Nimble and Cryptic Command and the rest of our deck. It probably has a Snapcaster Mage as well, I would assume. But Liliana is a serious threat that our opponent does have to account for. Path, do we care? No. Don't really care. So I think I'm gonna go with Nimble here. Vendilion Click. Yeah, I kind of figured that they had that. It's gonna take our cryptic command anyway, and they will have to go after Liliana. So if we counter and bounce a land source, because the fairy can bounce a Liliana, of course. I think I'm going to counter bounce. Counter bounce. If he has a force and negation here. So he would have to have land to fairy here to get rid of all Liliana. Tiny Teferi and Norset aren't bad, but they are not necessarily good as well. Okay. So this is somewhat weird and makes me think that our opponent actually wants to go along with a cryptic command here. So how do we best protect our Liliana? I think we're gonna go fall him. And if he bounces our Liliana here, then we're just gonna play our Jace. We can't get any value out of our Liliana right now anyway. And the way he played it with Vendilion Flick, especially protecting her in that way, but he needs to have, like, he has to have a counterspell here. Otherwise, I would assume that, yeah. Okay. That's also weird, right? So Liliana takes care of the Snapcaster Mage. Now let's see if he actually does that first. He had both. Interesting. All right. So our opponent would need to have a sweeper. Yeah, didn't think so. Yeah, I'm being pretty good here. Boom, 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 boom. To a certain degree, I would like to leave it at that. But I do think that I'm gonna go with Lavamancers here. I do not want to overextend into the, well, actually, no, too late right now. Why can't I submit the deck now? 60 cards, right? Hello? Why do I have to have 61 cards in my deck? What the fuck is going on? Hey. Hey. Oh yeah, I actually had... No, something's super wrong here. We didn't have this many cards. Why are they... There's 16 cards in our sideboard. Do we have 16 cards? No. With 15 cards in our sideboard and 16 in our main board, where's the additional card coming from? Now it's 60 again? Okay, Modo. Thank you for not a whole lot. But now I want to see. So now, So they just cut a Grim Lavamancer here. That sucks. Because that was actually the card that I wanted to have. So what happens if he has a Path to Exile, Anti-Fairy, and a Force? Well, we can't play around everything, right? So if we play Blood Crypt now, or if we play Island and he pass, Spell Snare? No. I was gonna say, like, running Spell Snare in the current meta is just not a thing you want to be doing. Sure. So not even getting punished by Teferi here. Put card on the bottom. And miss the land drop. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Well. That sucks a little. I'm gonna go with this one and just pass the turn here. Good. Yeah, see, and like this, if we kept the Blast Zone and discarded the So do we have a Force of Negation is my question. Because I think I'm gonna go counter and bounce. And if he does have a Force of Negation, then I'm gonna never mind. Then I would have actually dumped my Lightning Bolt with Jace into our bin, just so that we sure. It's going low. So cryptic commands aren't longed for this world anymore, which is a little sad, of course. So like all the cards in our hand, but if it comes to it, like we can dump the mountain, which I think I'm gonna do here because I want to have the lightning bolt. I want to have everything else. All right, let's attack. Alright, so another colonnade. The fairy, of course, is somewhat annoying, but I think I'm gonna go after the Snapcaster Makeshift first. Because the worst thing that Fairy can do is bouncing something and then just dying. Thoughtseize is also alright. I do not want to have the additional copy of Serum Visions though. Put on top, then activate that one. I'm gonna discard the Serum. Well, no. What I would have done here is dump the Thoughtseize. Dump the Thoughtseize. Go with Inquisition after Teferi. Then let him play Celestial Colonnade so that next turn he doesn't have any lands. Like this turn we could have set up another draw with Serum Visions, and then next turn go fall him, get rid of 2 of these, hopefully not the Celestial Purge, and afterwards we're pretty clean here to just go Bolt, Torpid, dead. Alright, so a clean 4-1. 4 times, 2-0, and 1 time. Well, you saw the match. Well, I hope you enjoyed the league. I hope you're watching the paper magic that is going on in the Mythic Championship. And that's it for today. Next video coming up, actually I got myself some Force of Negation. So I'll be filling the flex slots with Force of Negation, despite the fact that Liliana actually won us a couple of games here. So I'm still quite fond of her, I have to say. And I also like her better than Plague Engineer. Although that's of course also a very potent card. So have a great weekend, guys, and see you around soon.